Hello everyone, and welcome back to Top Business. It's Joe here. In this video, I'm going to discuss the absolute best bank accounts for 2020. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out on some awesome content. Please be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos drop. The world of banking substantially changed because the Federal Reserve lowered their interest rates down to 0%. This was in response to the pandemic, so that people have access to cheaper money, which would allow them to spend more, which would help recover the economy. But by doing this, it also hurts people who choose to save money because now funds idling in a savings account is earning virtually nothing. So it further disincentivizes people to save their money and instead makes investing their income look much more attractive. There are still banks that will pay you a high interest rate in your money relative to other banks on the market, and we'll be ranking them here. These banks pay up to 10 times more than what traditional banks are offering. Disclaimer: none of these banks are sponsored, and no one ever pays me to compile this list. This is just my opinion based on my own research, and that way you know you're getting honest advice. A quick heads up here, I'm not going to be mentioning a single bank that pays out less than 1% interest, and you're probably thinking that 1% interest is nothing. The point of these accounts is not to be an investment because 1% return is a lousy investment. The point of these accounts is to earn as much cash as you can for money that would otherwise be earning zero. This could be an emergency fund, or you have idle cash sitting in a checking account between bills, or possibly you're just holding on to cash because you're convinced the market is going to crash and you're waiting for the right opportunity. So let's discuss one of the banks I've actually liked the last few years. That's the Capital One 360. They currently offer a 1% interest rate on their savings account when you apply online. Great thing, there are no minimums. The other positive thing with this institution, it doesn't charge you fees, so there's no monthly maintenance charges or anything of that nature. However, when you don't make those 5 debit card transactions each month, fees will occur. Other fees include a $35 overdraft fee, but on the bright side, there's a next day grace period in the event you overdraft and can't get money back into the account the same day. So that should circumvent the issue. The only downside is there's a $40 fee for outgoing wires, which is very high, but assuming you have a little patience and can wait several days by choosing an ACH transfer instead. That's basically the same thing, and that method is free. The other good news with Capital One is that they also offer you a checking account as well, which is different from some other banks on this list, which only offers a savings option. The difference with Capital One, though, is that providing you a checking account, you will have access to utilize this institution like a normal bank, in the sense that you get a debit card, checks, online bill pay, and things of that nature. To emphasize this, it has no minimums, and Capital One will pay you a 0.1 interest rate within the checking account. Full disclosure, that is not a lot of money, but most institutions pay you 0% in a checking account, so the fact that you can get double the interest with no minimums as you would with the 6-figure Chase savings account, which only pays you 0.05% interest rate, is worth a bit of a slow clap. In reality, there aren't really any downsides with opening an account with them, except I found a link online that states they only pay 0.8% interest rate on the same account. So I have a hunch they're testing this out on a sample of consumers before lowering the interest rates for the masses. This is usually how banks conduct business. They'll do it for a small sample size and then implement to everyone else a month later. But the bright side is that if it happens, we then have this institution, the American Express Savings Account, that offers you a 1% interest. Similar to the last bank, there's no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and Amex has amazing customer service and great credit cards. Now I want to clarify here that even though they're compensating you 1% on your cash, what you're basically getting is only a savings account, nothing more. They don't offer a checking account. In other words, you're not receiving a debit card or a checkbook. In reality, it's just a linked account online that you could transfer funds and earn 1% interest. This account is really just going to be a tool that you utilize to earn a little cash or to keep cash in there to pay down debts. But if savings is all you're looking for, specifically if you have a credit card with them presently, I would recommend it. Amex has awesome customer service and the interest rate is okay. But if you're looking for something even slightly superior, then there's this account, Ally Bank. Ally Bank is one of the best banks for high interest. So first, let me detail exactly what they offer. None of this is sponsored. Ally Bank offers a 1% interest rate on a savings account with 0 fees and 0 minimums. All you need to do is open an account online and earn the free interest. And even though this is not the highest interest rate on the market and some other institutions will pay slightly more, Ally Bank finds a way to make up for it. For example, Ally Bank is a foreign bank, which means they have checking accounts and they're free to set up. Best of all, they even pay a little bit of interest, but if you keep less than $15,000 in the bank account, they will pay you 0.1%, the same amount as the Capital One 360 account. However, if you keep more than $15,000 in the account, they'll pay you interest of 2.5%. You really shouldn't keep that much cash in a checking account, but at least they're paying you something when nearly all other banks pay nothing. Ally Bank will give you a free debit card and checks as well. In addition, Ally Bank also lends money so you can get a loan through them if you decide to go that route. And they're also an investment platform with no fee stock trades, so you can get everything banking and financially done in one single institution, from loans, checking, savings investments, and so on. The institutions that compensate more than 1% interest, these are the real cash cows here, and we'll start off with this one, and that would be Varo Bank, that pays you 1.04%. This is another online savings account that has no fees. The caveat is that it requires a $100 minimum deposit to sign up. In general, it's a great option. However, the only downside is that, like American Express, this is only a savings account. There are a few options that pay even more than this institution, so for anyone now who wants a full-service bank, not just a savings account, and compensates you 10% more than the previous banks mentioned, there's this bank, and that's Redneck Bank. This bank is one of the weirdest ones from all of all, and the first thing I saw when I looked at the website, there's a goat that comes on screen every now and then. There's a fishing squirrel, a muddy pig, and a fly that just won't go away, but in any event, they're actually a legitimate bank and they pay you a great interest rate. I don't understand why they're named Redneck Bank, but you got to admit, they're memorable and it just gets people talking about them. Redneck Bank pays a 1.1% interest rate on your checking account with no minimums. However, they will only pay 1.1% on the first $10,000 within the account, and anything over that amount will earn 0.25%. Also, the minimum to open this account is $500. So, once it's opened, yes, you could take your money out and there's no penalty for that, but you must have at least $500 to open the account. Instead of a savings account, there's a money market account that pays you 0.85% interest rate on all balances up to $50,000. There are no fees, there's no minimums, but you do need to deposit a minimum of $500 to open the account. To be honest, this is a bank I would highly recommend for anybody who keeps less than $10,000 in their account. If that's you, this institution is likely going to consistently pay more than almost every other bank. However, if you keep more than $10,000 in your account, then I would recommend Ally Bank instead. Next up is Varo Bank. They're stepping up to be some major competition right now between some of the larger institutions because they're going the extra mile. They're paying you a really excellent interest rate, and they're not just a savings account, they also have a checking account and they're a full-service bank. Varo Bank is offering a 1.21% interest rate on their savings account with no minimum balances and no monthly maintenance fees. You could potentially earn up to 2.8% interest up to a $10,000 balance if you meet the minimum requirements. In order to qualify, you must conduct 5 debit card purchases a month. You can also have at least $1,000 worth of direct deposits going into the account, and the account cannot exceed $10,000 overall. That's a fairly easy parameter. If you do those things, the reward is a 2.8% interest rate up to $10,000. It also states on their website that you could easily get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. You're wondering, how does that work? Or what would happen if they paid me early and then I never ended up getting paid? The fine print states access to direct deposit funds depends on timing of the payer's submission of deposits. We generally post such deposits on the day they are received, which may be up to 2 days earlier than the payer's scheduled payment date. So basically, for example, if your job pays you after business hours on Monday, and it usually takes most banks a business day to process the payment, then in this example, your funds would be available to you on Wednesday. So this bank basically states that they'll provide you access to the funds as soon as it hits your account without any processing time. In my opinion, the 1.21% to 2.8% interest makes a lot of sense for anyone with less than $10,000 who doesn't mind jumping through a few hoops to get that higher interest rate. Finally on the list, the T-Mobile bank account that pays you 4%. Now, here's the deal with this bank account. Yes, they will pay you 4% in interest, but the catch is, the 4% interest rate is only available to T-Mobile customers. So if you're not a T-Mobile customer, that doesn't apply to you. The second item is that the interest rate is only available for the first $3,000. Any amount higher than that, you'll earn 1% interest. And the third stipulation, you're also going to need $200 a month in direct deposits to qualify. If you can meet all three requirements, then yes, the 4% is really an amazing rate to receive, even if it's only on the first $3,000. If you're a T-Mobile customer and you don't mind opening up an account, I would recommend it with $3,000. The $10 a month you earn on interest can offset your phone bill, so from that perspective, I think it's worth it. This is also an account with no fees and no minimums, no overdraft fees, no monthly maintenance fees, and the like. If you're not a T-Mobile customer, you could still open up an account with them, but you're only going to get paid 1% in interest. So generally, it's a good bank for T-Mobile customers to earn 4%, but if you don't qualify, I would recommend going with one of the other banks instead. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Next time, I'll discuss the top 8 jobs you can make $1 million a year.